We've got more on our top story now as Singapore authorities look to help struggling F&B firms here stay competitive with a series of initiatives. To delve deeper into the subject, we speak now with Michael Tan, CEO of the Singapore Productivity Centre, as well as Alan Tan, CEO of HarriAnns, a company that makes Peranakan food. Now, we want to go first to you, Michael. And
yes,
we see from this report that a typical F&B outlet generates something between $60 and $65 per man-hour worked. Now,
that's correct.
What makes some F&B establishments push that bar higher, perform above that median?
So the top performers usually do better in a few areas.
Yeah.
So one area could be in the area of outsourcing. Outsourcing some of the prep work. Instead of doing in-house, they outsource to someone who specializes in doing that. So by doing so, they reduce the reliance on manpower and the entire value chain of the productivity get improved. So this is one area. Another area that was highlighted is process optimization, redesigning a process, streamlining a process, and then put in the right automation, the right digitalization, and you will get an instant boost in the productivity. And this is something that I think Alan can share later on the process optimization.
So, I mean, you make it sound so simple. Okay, perhaps it's not. I believe there are some obstacles to it. But why is there such a substantial variation between in performance, within the subsectors?
I think in all the subsectors, particularly for F&B industry, the barrier entry is not too high. So everybody who thinks that they can cook, I can bake, I can make coffee, I can open a cafe, right? But I think the bar of the competition has risen over the years, and it's a bit more complicated. And Alan will share that it's much more complicated to run a restaurant like his.
Many other factors.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you go in and then after a few years of struggling, you have to take a minimum 3-year lease, and then you have to stock it out for the 3 years.
Yep.
So overall, there will be poor performers struggling, and you're stuck in it, right? And then what we are trying to show with the report is there's a transformation opportunity for you to go from the lower performer even to the typical median.
Right.
There's a big room to improve. And there's no shortage of initiative from government, and particularly Enterprise Singapore is working with Singapore Productivity Centre on the Food Act, which is about outsourcing and the process optimization. So some of this low-hanging fruit, you can try them out first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. But I want to get Alan's perspective because you've been trial by fire, right, through this whole thing. Share with us how HarriAnns embarked on your journey to improve these business processes and to become more efficient. And tell me about the challenges that you had to look at to help the business succeed.
Right. I think first of all, there are many factors like I mentioned earlier. One of which HarriAnns is actually a small. We started off as a small family business, and we try to do everything ourselves. Very manual process. Every piece of kueh is handmade. Every piece of kueh is hand cut, and to the point of we even hand wrap. Right. As business grew, we feel that there's no longer we are able to continue to doing such practice manually. Although there's a lot of authenticity in doing that, but we just could not scale. Right. So in the end, we realized that we definitely need to look at how we actually improve on our processes, and that's where we knock on Enterprise Singapore and say that I think we need to look at some of the processes. Right? And then, of course, without compromising our quality, and together with our team, we analyze that the biggest bottleneck is on the cutting of our kuehs, as well on the wrapping. So eventually, we decide to embark on how do we actually pillow wrap our kuehs, right? Because previously we actually wrapped them using plastic sheets, and subsequently we actually turn into automations, and we wrap our kuehs using pillow wrapping.
Okay, so you found this solution.
That's right.
That would help the business. So can you quantify for me where did you see the benefits of this?
I think we used to, for example, we could be wrapping thousands of pieces of kueh a night, and that takes us about 3 people over 4 hours. Right. After introducing the pillow wrapping, we actually need only 2 persons right? 2 people, and that takes less than an hour or so.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's more than like 70% of savings.
That sounds significant and
lots
a good
of it
start,
if you
at least.
go through a month.
Absolutely. And
right.
you know, Michael, back to you.
Yep.
I mean, we've heard the stories from Alan there, you know, but how much will such productivity improvements that we've just heard make a difference when these businesses are fighting against crazy rental increases and also competition that's not necessarily coming from within Singapore, but globally in that? Can it really make a difference?
I think competition in the rental environment, it's always will be there.
Yep.
Right. So what can a company do, or what can F&B businesses do? Is really to go back to the roots of being more productive. But of course, like what Alan was sharing earlier, the bare minimum given is your food must be good. If your food is no good, then there's no repeat customer. If there's no repeat customer, no amount of productivity will help you, right? But the bare minimum is, if you want to be in the industry, you better make sure the food is good, right? And then from there, how then can you systematically improve your processes, also some of the items, or even look at introducing digitalization, QR code ordering, menu, and all these initiatives.
Right.
But there must be a plan to put all this together in a streamlined way, instead of just, you know, putting all the solutions in. And I think Alan has got it right down to front of house, back of house, central kitchen, everything all in one. Perfect.
Yeah, I think I want to further add that the productivity, I mean, the automations not only adds to productivity, but it actually gave us a sense of reliability, right? Because you know, and you can actually predict exactly when your production has to be done. So the production can be done very accurately. For example, previously, when we have thousands of pieces of kueh, we could not promise customers exactly at what time we could finish wrapping, right? So now with the machine, he doesn't say that he is tired. So we could actually accurately produce and making sure that our kuehs can be actually churned out at the right time.
But do you think, you know, there is a sort of a trade-off between your craftsmanship, you know, of the individually wrapped packages and the handmade? You know, there's a trade-off, isn't there? Craftsmanship as efficiency.
Which is why we try not to touch on the quality, on the aspect of the handmade factor, because when we do the pillow wrapping, it is still not touching on the kueh itself. It is a additional piece where we actually, instead of hand wrapping, we are now asking the machine to wrap it, and in fact actually increases the I would say the consistency, better consistency. Right, I think it also improves in terms of hygiene, right? Because everything is handled. So I feel that that was done in a way we want it to be. And of course, initially we were quite worried whether will we lose that kind of, people may think that it looks so commercial. And we actually introduced it in phases in one of the outlets, and then people get it, and slowly we introduced to all the outlets.
And now they get the same quality on time. And I'm glad it's worked for you. So very good luck for the rest of your business. And thank you so much, gentlemen, coming in. I was speaking there with Michael Tan of the Singapore Productivity Centre, as well as Alan Tan of HarriAnns.